Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Carolina Perez of Castrator to the program tonight. Carolina, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time as well. I got the email from Clawhammer and I was just completely intrigued by everything I saw. And I'm like, I got to talk to this band. So good stuff.
Thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm glad it caught your interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Album, Defiled and Oblivion coming out. I saw a date of 22nd, but I heard you say something about the 29th in a different interview.
Yes, it was changed to the 29th because there was some problems with the release on the 22nd for the distributors. So they had to switch it back to the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the album. Let's start with the title of the album. Where did that come from?
Well, Defiled and Oblivion, we were trying to keep it dark and obscure, and we wanted to create some sort of I don't even know how to describe it, like another planet of misery. Okay. Like a chaotic, like that's what hell would be like, but in better words. You're just forgotten in chaos. Just you always try and look for better words to describe something simple.
You're looking to go even darker than dark.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Cover art done by John Zig. That is fascinating as well. And I understand he also helped create your new logo.
Yeah, that's right. So pretty much John was still already working on the artwork when we parted ways with our old vocalist, and we had to renew our logo or reinvent it because she worked creating the previous logo and it was just a little bit of a conflict thing. Sure. So we just reached out to him and we asked him if he would redesign the logo, and he just did great. We love it even better than the old one.
Excellent. Now he is from Texas?
Yeah, he is.
How did you meet up with him?
Because he's just master of darkness. And I follow him on social media. Okay. And I actually I know a lot of people that know him personally. My boyfriend, he's the drummer for Immolation, and he has a poster where we practice. We share the same rehearsal room. Okay. And there's a poster by him, so we look at it every day. Every time we practice is there. So his name is constantly in the front of my head. But when we were looking for an artist, he just met all the requirements, so we reached out to him, and yeah, he was just the one.
Very cool. Now to get the album, you go to, is it darkdescentrecords.bandcamp.com, and you can do pre-orders now, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we're also going to have it in our own Bandcamp. We're going to upload the new store maybe a week prior to the release. Okay. So people will be able to buy it either from the label or directly from us,
So that would be castratorbandcamp.com?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I saw a bunch of people are going to have some vinyls, different colored vinyls.
Yeah, it's great. We when Matt reached out to different the whole PR, the promo package people, a lot of people wanted to be involved in the release, so that we did 4 different variants. We did one with Gimme Metal, which is really cool because they're going to give us a guest DJ spot to promote the vinyl variant, which is a really nice blue, and I'm gonna be the host on that show. So it's coming out it's gonna be on July 20th. And then Brooklyn Vegan did that Pink Galaxy, which is awesome. We just released a new video through that to promote that vinyl variant, which is the Brooklyn Vegan or Project M. And then Decibel Magazine did it was a red, super cool, and they sold out already. I know.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then Revolver magazine got on board as well, right?
Yeah, and then Revolver is the last one, and that's gonna be, so we're gonna release a new video right before the release of the album, and that's gonna be on Revolver, and that's gonna be the best video yet. And yeah, so we're having a lot of promotion going.
And the video that's coming out is Tormented by Atrocities, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Now with the latest video, or I think with all the videos that I saw for you, pretty much were the mastermind behind the videos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I tackled that monster myself.
had you done any type of video work before, audio visual, anything like that, or has this been a learn as you go?
Very minimal, because out of necessity I learned how to like edit like drum videos, and like I really want to put something like that's better quality than just like a cell phone video. So I started playing around with software, and I just found a new love. I love doing it. So I get lost in it, and I want to record videos just so I can edit them. It's just like weird. I guess I'm weird, but
no, self-sufficient. The more you can keep it in house.
But I get like lost in it. So for our release, we really didn't have a budget for videos, so we were like, well, I'll do it if you guys come here to Ohio. We'll record a couple of videos, and because I'm in Ohio, and and they all came. We did it over the winter. We shot 2 videos. We shot Tyrants and Tormented. We did a different takes because Tyrants is like single. It's just like individual shots.
Yeah.
And Tyrants is Tormented is gonna be all like group. Like a full band playing. But then I released Tyrants first. For Tyrants, a really good friend of mine, she helped me with the camera work. She's actually a photographer. Her name is Stephanie Gentry. Because she's a professional photographer. She never really did video, but I was like, you have the equipment. I did research on like the equipment we had, and actually Bob Vigna from Immolation, they came here and they recorded all the Immolation videos in the same practice room that we recorded the Castrated videos. Nice. Yeah, so when Immolation finished their videos, and Bob Vigna, he's a guitar player for Immolation, he is like super professional. He's got all the equipment, he's got the lights, and so he came, and I asked him if he would like let us use his equipment, not the cameras, but he let us use the lights, and the room was all blacked out, and he just left it like that for me to just put it away and then give him back his equipment. So we utilized that. And then I asked him what kind of camera he used, and he uses a Nikon like D5000, D9000. So I started looking in the marketplace for that same exact camera because I really liked how his videos were coming out. Mm-hmm. So I did a bunch of research. I went on the marketplace, I looked for the camera, and I found it for like $200. So we drove and we got it, and I started just playing around with it, and that's how I got into it.
Nice. Hey, that's what it's all about,
you gotta hustle.
Exactly. In today's world with music the way it is, it's funny you mentioned not having a budget for videos. I just finished Jonathan Cain's book this afternoon, the keyboard player for Journey, and he was talking about when he was in Bad English, as big a band, and as they had a #1 hit, #1 album, and all this stuff. They finished that band in the black because of the videos. They were at the height of the video age. They would spend $300,000 on a video, and that all came out of the band's money, and
and that's so sad.
So sad. When you look back on it now.
And honestly, like, it doesn't need to be anything fancy, as long as it just has to capture the band's,
Yeah, absolutely. Energy. I think you did a fantastic job on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let's talk about a few of the tracks on the album. And I know I was bugging you for a lyric sheet, and I actually found one. You guys had a picture of one on your Facebook page, and I downloaded it, and I could blow it up so I could see the lyrics. So awesome. Very cool. Help me out with a few of these.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's just that I don't have like the actual sheet. Like, they're all like on my Google Drive, and they're all separate files, and like I'm super busy. And I was like, I'm sorry.
It was great. It worked perfect. It was like the old days of looking at an album sleeve.
Okay.
Help me out with a few of the titles here. Like track 1, how is that pronounced?
Dawa of Giuseppe.
Okay. Now, she was an activist for female education over in, do I get this right, Pakistan?
Pakistan, yeah.
And who was shot actually in the head, but she did not die, lived to go on, and this is sort of her story.
Mm-hmm, that's right. It's like a tribute to her, but it's also a real social issue. So it's just like an example we can use to describe a terrible situation that's going on to this day, Mm-hmm. So it's a current story that we can expand or like put out there, and we're metal, so we're gonna play metal, trying to just do that, just play tribute to her and share that story.
Yeah, Amazing story, because
Yeah.
my whole world expands when I interview a death metal band, because the death metal bands write about things either current or long past. The vocabulary you use in the songs is very different from, say, an AOR band or just a straight up rock band or a glam band, anything like that. And it just takes me to places that I normally would never go, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love metal. Definitely, it's different. Yeah.
So that's sort of a current thing. Then we go to like Inquisition Sins, which deals with the witch trials in like the late 1500s, early 1600s.
Yeah.
What got you into that?
Well, I wrote most of the lyrics for the album, and they're written in a, during a long period of time. The album took 7 years to make, but during those years I was writing lyrics, and some of the lyrics were written like at the very last moment when we switched vocalists. But Inquisition Sins, I wrote because I always found it fascinating how can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
how fucked up the Catholic Church has been, and like what all kinds of like atrocities and pain it has caused, and people still like don't see that, so we have, I feel like we gotta remind people how terrible the church is, and it has been. And I'm super anti-religion. Religion is like, it's just like a blind obedience thing that I think everyone should think for themselves. But anyways, the witch trials in Europe at that era were brutal. They killed so many people, and it was all excused by a pope, a terrorizer, and it was all these guys behind the Inquisition. So
yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, I got a cursory thing with that when I watched Witchfinder General with Vincent Price, that movie there. I think it was called The Lair of the White Worm Overseas or something like that, but it dealt with all that. Fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of movies that touch that subject, and so I mean, that's all part of, it's very important to try and not keep that in, like, just keep reminding people, like in any art form, in movies and music and books and anywhere, painting. Yeah.
Now, track 5, help me with this one. Voices of, what's that word there? Everato. Now, this, I had never heard of this story about these young boys that were castrated to keep their voices.
Yeah, it was a prestigious status on like late 1700s, early 1800s. I don't know, you get so brainwashed, so indoctrinated, and you believe that, like, if that's what the church wants, then that's the right thing. And families would like volunteer their babies to be castrated so they could sound like kids for the rest of their lives.
And the one verse that got me, and again, this is where you hear a vocabulary in death metal that, like, again, you don't hear it in a lot of other music. Gilded for life through a disturbing ritual, body modification, trapped in a body not grown, and immaculate voice made forever. I mean, that's heavy. I mean, and that's words you don't hear, a lot.
Yeah. Well, we worked really hard on trying to use better words. Like I would go to thesaurus for pretty much every word. It's just like I don't want to just put something that just, you want to work hard on what you're doing.
Yeah. Now, the last 2 songs have dealt with history long ago. Track 1 is more current. Are you a student of history, and also you obviously keep up on current events? No,
I'm just like very, very, I'm passionately curious, like Albert Einstein said. Okay. I mean, like when any subject, when it really touches me, I really like to get into it and read about it and investigate. Yeah. So when I heard the Malala story, it really, really touched me. I remember crying, and like I wrote those lyrics, and it was out of frustration, pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, that's why I'm an artist. I express my frustrations through my art and whatever feelings. But same with the Inquisition atrocities. Like, it's just like, okay, I really I think this would be a good subject. So then start reading about it, and oh my gosh, and then the voices of Everato. Yeah, so I really like classical music. So when you listen to classical music that's actually very known in the classical realm. So yeah, so I would listen to those castrated people don't exist anymore by you know that whole cult, or no, that we know of.
Yeah.
So there's no current recordings of anything like that. There's only like one from like the early 1900s, but it's like super bad quality. So people try to imitate that in like operas, like that vibrato, but it's impossible. It's impossible to achieve. So the sample that I did in the beginning of the song, it's actually Misery May from it's like a mass song that they used to use at mass. And that's like it's a part of that prayer thing. And so I just layered different vocals, and one of the vocals is supposed to be the castrato, which is like, sounds like children, but they're not children.
Yeah. Wow. Two other tracks that really intrigued me, because I read where you were into this, and I have definitely been into this, and I share it with my daughter as well. Forsaken and Deprived and Purge the Rotten. Forsaken has to do with all the Jane Does, and you're a true crime documentary buff and stuff like that.
It's another passion of mine. Actually, me and Robin, the bass player, we share that passion. We like to watch crime documentaries for forever. And it's always really frustrating to hear about, you know, the Jane Does. It's just so sad. There's so many cases that are unsolved, and it's just like, because obviously, you know, there's so many women that are being raped and killed, and it's just very sad.
Yeah, definitely.
And Eileen Wuornos, you know, we wanted to put out like a song, because, you know, we're death metal. We kind of want to be like the female version of Cannibal Corpse. So so Eileen's brutal, you know, she's from Florida. She's brutal. She was her story is awesome. She was just like very conflicted. She thought it was self-defense, but she also said that she really enjoyed killing them, you know, so like make up your mind. So there's very few female serial killers that have been documented, and she's one of them. So I remember watching Monster, and again, once I started, you know, researching for this interview, I went to her, and one thing that sort of fascinated me is, here's this, you know, the person, whatever type of person she was, you know, and she wanted Natalie Merchant Carnival played at her funeral, that song Carnival by Natalie Merchant, which is, you know, she's a real soft-spoken, you know, kind of artist. You know, according to the internet, she fell in love with that album when she was on death row, which, it's amazing where different music can take you, isn't it? Oh yeah. Music is very universal. Music is an expression of all our feelings, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about the band. Now, you mentioned Robin a couple times. You met her back in 2015 along with your original singer, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you and Robin are the two from the original band. You've since picked up a couple of new members.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Unfortunately, we had to part ways with a lot of members because this is a long distance project. I'm sorry. You know, we have to work with whatever we have technology wise, and you know, not everyone is up to the speed that you want it to be. But so, you know, sometimes like our first guitar player, she was in Norway. That was a huge time difference, and it was really difficult to just get anything going. So that's why the record took so long. And then we switched guitar players, and the second guitar player we got, she recorded an album, but it was just not how we wanted it, you know, like what she did. So then we had to scrap that, and then I recorded drums to that, and then we just listened back and we're like, no, this is not us. We weren't happy with it, so we scrapped the whole thing. And then we actually recruited a producer per se, Dan Gonzalez from Possessed, while our previous singer was still in the band, and he helped us like immensely. He's pretty much the reason why this record exists, because he pretty much he bridged that gap for us to finally be able to find a guitar player without needing the guitar player to like write everything, you know. So he helped us produce the album, and then when we got Kim, she pretty much was given complete songs, because Robin and I wrote the majority of the songs, but we needed a guitar player to help us, to help us with like finalize the writing and all that. And plus he's an amazing producer. So yeah, he helped us. We didn't have titles or lyrics or anything like that, obviously. But then we started having, problems, personal and professional problems with our singers. So then we just parted ways. And then that's when we got Clarissa, and Clarissa's just what we've been looking for forever. She's the sound that we were missing.
Now, recording the album, were you ever together to record any of the songs, or was this all done in separate?
This was all done separately. I went to New York to record my drums. I recorded the drums for this, believe it or not, in 2020, COVID year.
Okay.
Yeah, in October of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how long ago I recorded the drums for this album. And then Robin recorded the bass after that, and we sent the songs to Kim, and it's a long process. And then just, let's say each song took like 3 months for each member to.
And then Daniel's got to patch it all together.
No, Daniel only produced it. It was mixed and mastered by Jared Pichard.
Okay, yeah, so he had to put all the pieces of the quilt together.
Yeah.
And he did a fantastic job. I love the tone. There's a thick, heavy tone.
Oh my God, I couldn't
album.
believe it when I got it back and I listened to what he did. I was like, wizard.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, that's what I definitely liked. I like, it's the only word I can think of, is a thick, crushing kind of tone, and that's what I felt in this. It was fantastic. Great work.
Thank you. Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah. Let's go back in time a little bit, do a little This Is Your Life sort of thing. You started drumming, I understand, around the age of 13 with your brother. You guys started doing punk covers?
That's right, yeah.
And,
I had this was actually, I'm from Colombia, so this was back in Colombia. We moved here when I was 15. But yeah, I started when I was like 13, and I had just like a hand drum. It wasn't even drums, just like the folklore Colombian hand drum, and I would just do the punk beats, and he would just play the guitar. And we did that for a while. And then for my 15th birthday, which is a big deal in Colombia, it's called quinceañera. Okay. They always throw you like a fancy party, and you have to look pretty and all that. All I wanted was a drum set. I was like, I don't want a party, I don't want anything, I just want a drum set. And my family was like, no, you have to have a party. I was like, no. And I was miserable. I mean, they gave me the drum set, but I still had to suffer through that fucking party. Yeah. And then I was like in love, and we started jamming, and now I had a full drum set and cymbals, and me and my brother, we had a room full, like it was covered with egg cartons to like help the soundproof.
Yeah.
And we will like just lock ourselves in that room for just hours and just play. We sounded like shit, but we thought we sounded great then.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going back then to growing up in Colombia, what type of music were you exposed to, say, in your younger years growing up?
Oh my God, what my parents listened to.
And what was that?
It was just like very sad romantic music. Yeah, and then actually I had my uncle Javier. He was like a younger human. He was only like a teenager when I was he was like in his 20s when I was like 10. So he had Metallica, and they had rock. So every time I went to my grandma, I would go into their room and just like explore their music collection. And I was always curious about that. They had like Aerosmith, they had George Michael, they had like everything that, I loved it. I would just ask them to play it for me, and they would.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the fact too that I read where you like got exposed to like Metallica in the 90s, and you discovered their 90s stuff, but then you went back to the early stuff. You worked back to the beginning with them, which was something I used to love to do. Of course, my first exposure to, say, like Led Zeppelin was Stairway to Heaven, but then when I heard Led Zeppelin 1, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you go deep into their like the deep cuts,
Yeah. Would you agree that artist development is sorely missing these days? You watch an artist, say, like, take a Sepultura. their first few albums sounded like and what they ended up, say right like around the time of Roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I wouldn't call that like a development. It's just like I said before, with music, you express what you're feeling, and when you write an angry record, it's because you're angry. So when you get comfortable with life, it's really hard to write an angry record.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I also looked at your YouTube channel. You have some fascinating stuff on there. You do a really nice cover of my favorite Police song, Murdered by Numbers.
Thank you. Yes, I love that. That song taught me so much. Yeah, it just unlocked something in my brain. Stuart Copeland is amazing.
And then I was fascinated by your Get Down Funk cover you played with another drummer. How hard is that to do with one person playing one beat and another person playing the other?
It's not hard when I guess you sometimes you have really good chemistry musically with some people, and it's just a no-brainer, and some people it's impossible. That's why, like, when somebody asks me to join a band, I'm always like, well, let's jam first and see if it works out, because you can't agree to anything you haven't tried. But Get Down with Funk, that was during COVID, like maybe May or June of 2020, and nothing else to do, so that was actually very enjoyable, and it was a nice challenge.
Do you incorporate any of that funk drumming, any of that Murder by Numbers rhythm stuff you're learning from Copeland into anything you're doing with Castrator?
Well, not with Castrator. I mean, I try, but it's just a very different. It's like really fast. I mean, I try with like the fills and stuff. I incorporated more in my other band, Hypoxia, because Hypoxia is more. It gives me more room to like experiment, I think. Yeah.
I was just thinking like funk death metal. That's like a great concept.
I love funk, but some things you think they're gonna sound good together, and then you try them and it's like, no, that should just stay its own thing.
So going forward now with Castrator, Defiled in Oblivion comes out on July 29th. We want to say you go to castratorbandcamp.com. What do you ladies have going forward? Are there any tour dates lined up? I saw you played, where was it, in Philly a little while ago? Do you have anything else lined up?
We played Death Nexus in a couple of months ago. Yeah, we're working right now. We're working on a couple dates in September. We're gonna play a festival that's gonna be announced soon, and then we're gonna build some dates around that. And then we're working on a tour in November, December. That's going to be a full tour, like US tour. And that's also going to be announced soon.
Excellent. And we got the next video for Tormented we can look forward to on July 29th as well. So good things going forward. And you're a true testament of patience and persistence and everything else with getting this out. Like you said, you worked 7-8 years on this album, correct?
Yes, we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carolina, before I go, I always like to ask fun, silly questions. I'm hoping these are questions you've never been asked. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's go.
What is something you splurge the most money on?
Coffee.
Okay.
I'm a coffee head. I love coffee. I will not skimp on coffee prices. I will pay whatever, if it's worth it, I'll do it. Okay.
We talked a lot about history. If you could be born in another era, what era would you pick?
Well, it's always been so hard for women.
It's true.
I would just go to the future, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to go future?
I'll go to like 2050, maybe. See how.
Okay. If you could blink your eyes and appear anywhere else in the world, where would you choose?
Ooh, I would choose somewhere where I've never been. So I would like to go to Japan, because I've always wanted to be in Japan.
Very cool. If you could go back in time and eat one of your mom's favorite meals from your childhood, what would you have her make?
My mom doesn't really cook.
Okay.
My grandma, maybe.
Okay. What would be your grandma's favorite dish that you would ever make?
Something really simple. It's just like chicken and rice with potatoes. Oh, so good.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever prank called someone?
Yes, but I was very young and I barely remember.
Okay.
And I feel like I was like, someone made me do it. It was like a bet or something.
Okay. Give us something that decorated your teenage bedroom.
My teenage bedroom. Oh, well, I had to share my room with my brother who played guitar, and he had a poster of Kirk Hammett naked in the toilet holding his guitar.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That was great. It's like one of those things you never forget.
what is one basic item you always carry with you?
My drum key.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Going along with that, sort of that theme, do you travel heavy or light?
Light.
Light. Just to carry on, throw it up overhead, and away you
Yep.
go, right?
Well, I used another little fact about me. I used to be a flight attendant. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I learned the hard way. Travel light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to karaoke song.
Oh my God. It's really hard, but the best I've done in karaoke is Holy Diver.
Okay, cool.
Holy
Great
Diver.
choice. Great choice.
Yeah.
If you could pick a television show to have a Castrator song placed in, what show would you pick?
I would choose something with true crime, like a new version of like metal true crime.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sort of like if you could get on, what is that Joe Kenda show, the detective show with Joe
Yes,
Kenda?
I love Joe Kenda.
Yeah, my daughter watches him religiously.
Yes.
Last one, and this is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a biopic of your life, what actress would you pick to play you? And it's your movie, your life. You could pick anybody.
Just me?
Yep.
I would choose Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
that. Definitely.
Yeah. She
Definitely.
reminds me a lot of myself. Like I'm really goofy, like
Yeah.
when I see Drew, I like see a lot of how I am.
Excellent. That's cool. I definitely could see that.
Thank you.
We have been chatting with Carolina Perez of Castrator. She is the drummer for this great band. The new album Defiled in Oblivion is going to be out July 29th. Once again, go to Castrator bandcamp.com. I don't know why I can't say that word. Bandcamp.com. And best wishes going forward. Was there anything that we didn't get to talk about? Any questions I didn't ask you? Anything you wanted to say before we end?
No, you did an amazing job. It's the best
Thank you.
interview ever. You like really did your homework. No, I mean, I just want to say we have some new merch coming out. We would really appreciate if you guys can support us. We need to make some money to be able to play shows. And yeah, please go buy our new album. You're gonna love it.
Awesome. And I've heard it. It is awesome. So Ryan did send me the full length from Clawhammer. So thanks to him as well. Best wishes going forward. May all your travels be safe, and may all your shows be sellouts, Carolina.
Thank you so much, Lance.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.